What's going on, everyone? This is Corey with Gaming Tavern on YouTube, xboxtavern.com, elsewhere as of right now. And as always, I have another review for you this week. Today, I'm taking a look at a game called The Precinct. This just came out on Xbox and other platforms, and it is best described shortly as GTA, but you're the cop. So it's isometric, over-the-top level gameplay. And you play as a cop who is kind of a rookie. You just get into this precinct, and it is your job to go out on patrol, on foot, and through vehicle chases, and even helicopter chases, and take down crime in the old-fashioned way. As you're doing that, there is a story that develops, and not doing the crimes, but resolving the crimes. You pick up evidence. That evidence equates to finding out more about certain gangs and then eventually taking them down. There is a running story of two different gangs that appear, and so as you do the grindy, monotonous part of the game, which is kind of where the meat is, and that's where I'll get into, you come up with little snippets of the story, and then you will go on exclusive or strict missions or what have you to go and do something related to that is a little different than the rest of the game. And it may just be like looking at a crime scene and collecting that evidence, or actually getting into a gunfight with so-and-so to progress that part of the story. But that's just part of it, and in my opinion, it's the lesser part of the game. The most this game really has to offer is in its day-to-day interactions as a police officer. And really, if I were to describe this game to somebody, I would describe it as a police simulator light, which I kind of dig. There are simulator games out there that go really heavy into the interactions. This one, I think, finds a very nice balance of being a game, but also giving you like different levels of detail. And so what I mean by that is, let's say that you're on patrol and you're on let's say foot patrol, just to make it easy. You walk up to somebody and you can see that they're vandalizing a wall. They are spray painting graffiti all over it. And so your police alarm in your game head here, it alerts you that something's going on. So then it's your choice to determine if you want to interact with that situation or not. Once you go up and interact with that person, you have a couple of options. First, you're going to maybe check their ID. And it's not like you have to type in anybody's name or anything. You literally just press check ID, wait a few seconds, and they tell you if the ID is clean or not. Then you can search the person, see if they have anything illegal on them. And I've seen games where you have to go through and like individually like check things through people's pockets. That doesn't sound fun to me. This one, you literally just say check possessions or what have you, and it just tells you if there's anything illegal on them. Perfect. That's all I want to know. And maybe that person has an illegal weapon. They have a brass knuckles on them, and so it alerts you. And so now it is up to you to resolve that. And like I said, there are details to this game, but it's not super in-depth. So in order to resolve a crime or crimes, we get all of our evidence, I guess you will, and we have to say, are we talking possession crimes, foot crimes, vehicle crimes, whatnot. So in this particular example, we would go to possession crimes, mark that they had an illegal weapon, and then I would go to foot crimes and say vandalism. And it will, I think there's a setting that you can get like hints and tips. By default, it's on, I believe, because I don't think I changed anything. And it was telling me, because of the illegal weapons, it is probable cause for an arrest. And so my action on that is to arrest the person, and I then can escort them to the precinct, my car, and then to the precinct, or I can even call backup to come get the person for me, which is really nice when you're far away and you just want to like resolve all these crimes really, and not have to worry about taking the people back. You can just call on the computer to do that for you. Now that's an easy encounter. These encounters are dynamic in the fact that they do change. And so let's say that vandalism person, they didn't have anything illegal on them. They were just vandalizing. Well, if I talked to them and went through that whole rigmarole and that was the only thing that was wrong, I could issue them a fine and then they'd be on their way. But let's say that they all of a sudden don't like that I'm searching them and they start running away, or even worse, they start shooting. Well, now we're talking about evading arrests on their charges, maybe even assault, depending on what they do. Sometimes they could go and carjack somebody, and then now we have a whole nother slew of crimes that we are adding on to their record here. And eventually, you catch them in whatever way that ends up, and you resolve the crime in that way. And you're going to go through and do that a lot. That's the majority of the game. And like I said, most of this is takes place in an open world, and you're on foot or in your police cruiser. Sometimes you can be in a helicopter if you choose to. And that is even easier in the sense of you just need to spotlight enemies and the computer on the ground will do the other work. And that's really easy. But in both the helicopter and on foot and in vehicle, whenever you're in pursuit, you do build up a little meter, and you can spend those points on things like extra backup, maybe a roadblock, maybe you want to throw down a spike strip. So there's a little bit more to it than just going and arresting somebody. There's enough variety in the crimes and how they interact that it always at least keeps you alert, I guess is the best way to put it. Now, whenever you're doing that, like I said, you do collect evidence. Most of it is non-important. Sometimes it will be related to the gang members, and that is how you progress the story. Otherwise, you're just collecting XP for resolving these crimes, doing it correctly, and doing it in the right places gets you extra XP. But that XP leads you to a level up bar. You level up, and not only do you unlock more things like different weapons or different locations, you unlock upgrade points. So there is a skill tree involved. You can get better at running. You can get better at growing that meter I was talking about. Maybe you can call in an extra bit of assistance. So there is some point of progression here. The only thing that I really had about the game is the map is fairly small. You basically have an east and a west side of the city, and so you're going to be seeing the same thing quite often. You're going to be on patrol most of the time, and it's going to be the same thing over and over and over again. So it's a little monotonous. That said, I think the whole story can probably be gotten through in what I've seen around the 15-hour-ish mark. I'm about 10 hours in at the time of this recording. So it's really just a matter of going out on patrol and doing more of that so I can hopefully get gang evidence to get the final boss of the gangs taken care of. And then I will kind of be done with that part. But at that point, it's just grinding those regular crimes that you're resolving. So that's, it's just a little monotonous. Now, they do make it a little bit more fun on the map. Again, it is small. There are jumps that you can do. You get a little bit of XP for them. You get an achievement if you do all of them. So that's fun. There are artifacts around the map. They really don't make a lot of sense as far as fitting into a story that I've seen so far. But if you come across one, usually there is a code you have to put in, and somewhere around you will be a hint to what that code will be. They haven't been too hard to figure out, so that is an extra incentive. There are time trials on the map, so you have to get from point A to point B in whatever time that is. And that is self-isolated. You can just do those on patrol whenever you want. And there are also races, so getting around the map quickly in a vehicle is important, and so doing these races and the time trials help. And like I said, the map's not too big, so you will learn the map pretty quickly and easily. So yeah, I love the way this game looks. I like the way it plays. I still think that Simulator Light is the best way to describe it, and I think it's a great game. So if this looks fun to you, it probably will be fun to you. It is a weird, simple way to put that. For me, it kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm glad it did. So if the Precinct looks fun to you, go ahead and check it out. If you aren't on XboxTavern.com's website, where the final score is for the game, go ahead and go there now. Otherwise, I'll catch you on Gaming Tavern on YouTube. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.